what are you legally obligated to do when running a business? And what are the consequences of not following these specific laws on you and your business? As entrepreneurs, I know that we have a lot of things to think about. One of these is complying with the relevant laws that affect our business. So in this video, we will discuss the legal aspects of business. Make sure to stay until the end of the video to find out what you should have done or you should do before you start your business to avoid legal issues. If you're new, let me just very quickly introduce myself. I'm Malcolm Zoppi, an English qualified solicitor, and I help UK SMEs with their corporate and commercial legal needs. Amazing. So let's assume that you started a new business. Let's assume that it's a tech business and you're wondering what kind of laws you should be aware of and what you need to do to comply with these laws. Well, in this video, we will examine three main laws, starting with the UK GDPR. The UK GDPR is a law that the UK adopted following the exit from the European Union, and it deals with personal data. Personal data is information that identifies or personally identifies individuals. Examples of personal data include emails, phone numbers, and full names and addresses. Okay, so what are some of the things that you need to do to comply with the UK GDPR? Well, first, you need to make sure that you are aware of whether you are a controller or a processor of personal data. A controller, in short, is an entity that is the one that collects the personal data directly from data subjects. And data subjects are the people whose data you hold. The tech business, in our example, would be a controller of the personal data of their clients, because their clients, the data subjects, are giving the tech business their details. On the other hand, the tech business could also be a data processor. Let's assume that the tech business has an online platform and their clients are also businesses and use that platform to upload details about their own clients. So in this case, the tech business is the data processor of the personal data of their client's client personal data. So what do you actually need to do to comply with the UK GDPR? Some of the things that you need to do are, for example, when acting as the data controller, you will need to have a privacy policy in place that is publicly accessible and gives details to your data subjects as to how you're going to process, store, and use their personal data. If you're processing data for other people, then you'll need to have a data processing agreement in place that specifies again how you're going to process that data and how you're going to protect that data from, for example, security breaches. It is important to keep in mind that compliance with these data protection laws is relevant for any business, no matter how big or small that business is. The consequences of not following UK GDPR include, for example, being fined and possibly being sued against. Great. So the second main law that we're going to be discussing is the Companies Act 2006. The Companies Act is the piece of legislation that deals with the running of a limited company and other entities, for example, the limited liability partnership. Now, the Companies Act is a huge piece of legislation. It has hundreds of sections, but some of the things that you should definitely be aware of if running a limited company is that the directors and the shareholders of the company need to keep written records of their decisions. So, for example, if you own the limited company and you're looking to create new shares, transfer your shares, or amend your articles of association, you'll need to keep written records of these decisions. For example, the board of directors will need to keep their board minutes at the company's registered office address for at least 10 years. The consequences of not following the Companies Act depend on, for example, the kind of section that you have not followed. But typically, the consequences of deliberately not following the Companies Act are fines and even possibly your company being struck off the register on Companies House. And the third main law that we'll be discussing in this video is the Finance Act 2004. Now, this act is important if running a limited company, and it makes very clear that a limited company, must submit a corporation tax return to HMRC and pay corporate tax. Now, the reason that we're discussing this is because to be able to submit a corporate tax return to HMRC, ideally you would be doing bookkeeping. You would be keeping records of the transactions that your company has, the ins and the outs, and typically that entails appointing an accountant to help you with these compliance issues. The consequences of not complying, for example, by not submitting a corporate tax return, include, for example, late payment fees, interest on corporate tax due, penalties, and even criminal prosecution. But on the topic of legal issues and possible consequences of doing business, did you know that the most risk typically comes with simply dealing with your clients? Clients might claim against you and take you to court if, for example, you're hacked and their personal data is stolen, if you're negligent, or if your products are faulty and cause them loss. Legal claims can be absolutely brutal to a business, and a lot of the times it is not uncommon to identify as one of the reasons why a business went under as the claims that a client brought against them. For this, it is extremely important that every single business has bespoke terms of business in place, the terms and conditions, that specify what they are offering and how they limit their liability. So if you want to protect your business and give it the best chance of success, make sure to reach out using my contact details below for a free legal advice call. In the meantime, learn about the legal essentials for starting a business by watching this video. Thanks for watching.